1, 2, 3, 4. It's 7 p.m. and I call to order this meeting of the Middlebury Development Review Board for September 24th, 2018. First thing, I'll go over the one agenda item. It's an application request by CP Bricks and Mortar doing business as Champlain Valley Equipment for an amended conditional use approval to construct a new 45 by 100 foot detached 4-bay maintenance facility at 453 Exchange Street. Okay. Next item, are there any public communications on any item not on the agenda for tonight? Hearing none. Is there an approval for the DRB minutes of or a motion, I should say, for 8/27/2018?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second. Discussion, changes, questions?
I found one little thing here. On line 93,
93, you said?
93. The last three words, the all property.
All the property?
Should it be all the property or all property or the property?
Okay.
What should it be?
The property, I believe.
Yeah. Taking out all?
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So, we're back to our one business item. An application request by CP Bricks and Mortar doing business as Champlain Valley Equipment for an amended conditional use approval to construct a new 45-foot by 100-foot detached 4-bay maintenance facility to accommodate larger equipment. The maintenance facility will be located northwest of the existing business building. The property is located at 453 Exchange Street in the General Commercial District, parcel ID 004064-100. Okay. If you would like to come up to the table. And I'll administer
They
the
do come
oath.
apart, just pull them. There you go.
I'll administer the DRB oath for applicants, interested persons, and those who wish to participate in this hearing. Do you affirm that the evidence and information you are giving in this proceeding is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody in the public? Okay. At this time, I would ask the members of the board if any member has a conflict of interest regarding this application.
I bought a side-by-side from them at Fitness 1211.
Hearing none. Also, at this time, does any member wish to disclose any ex parte conversations concerning this case? Hearing none. Would you like to introduce yourself and explain what you're proposing?
I'm Josh Provo, one of the owners at Champlain Valley Equipment.
And I'm Rick Viens, service manager.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Explain what we want to do.
Well, really what we need to do is, or would like to do, since the inception of Crone in 2016, you might see some of these big giant, big X's and big M's rolling through town, the foragers and the choppers and mowers. They're very large machines, and we have 10 technicians full-time. During the summer months, such as now, we have 5 technicians on the road. So, but from mid-October through mid-April, we bring business back into the shop. And much of the equipment we look to service is this large stuff. I mean, when they drop their wings, they're 30 feet wide, about 30 feet long, so two alone can take up a substantial amount of shop space. What happens is, in this industry, in the ag business and even commercial, they look to have their machines serviced during downtime, and we can save anywhere from 10, 15, 20%. So it's really a good opportunity for the consumer and also for us. But what happens is when these 10 guys all get in the shop, there's no room. And when there's no room, it can be difficult when they're fighting for real estate and they've got machines to work on. So to promote civility, safety, and a need for it, you know, I've been planning for this expansion for 2 years now for Brian, that we definitely need it, so.
Yeah, we just simply outgrown the space that we've had with the size of the equipment. So,
Does that make any sense?
Totally.
Especially when you see them going down the road.
It's their season right now, that corn in.
When does it stop?
We hope never, but it stops like mid-October.
The-
I don't know,
the
the
size of
size
the-
of the.
Oh.
physically, the size of the machines probably won't grow anymore, just because of, to be legal on the road and for
Trucking.
transport, they just can't move them any larger, so we don't think we'll see it. The manufacturers have told us that's probably about the end.
You don't realize in Vermont until you're trucking them and how big they are.
Oh, I
and
know.
what roads you can use and have the permits and get them in place. And then you've got time sensitivity sometimes when someone needs it right away. It's quite a science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the new building will be located in the rear of the existing parcel. And for the record, that building is 60 by 150, correct?
The new building?
The existing building,
Oh, we-
45 by 100.
45 by
40.
100.
Okay.
45 by 100,
That's
the new
it.
building.
Yeah, right here. And you're not, and this fits on the parcel without any side yard or rear yard setback waivers.
Where is it on the parcel? That,
The northwest corner.
Right there.
Okay, that's where those are the trailers,
They
right?
have box trailers
Yeah,
there now.
exactly.
What's the structure just east of that, where the proposed building?
It's a small storage
Just
barn, yeah.
house, yeah.
I think it's roughly like 10 by 40, probably storage.
How much space, do you know the distance between the west side of the building and the property line? I know it clears the setback.
I don't know the exact measurement of that.
Approximately?
I would say it must be approximately about 80 feet, I would say.
Okay.
You're not proposing any changes to the outdoor lighting, is that correct?
That's correct.
There are no wetlands on this parcel at this area?
There isn't any.
Is there a class 3 wetland?
No, we're beyond the buffer for it, though. As
Okay.
far as yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
So you're gonna provide that buffer.
We are.
How about floor drains?
No floor drains. We'd like to have one, but it's not a good not a good subject.
So back to the lighting for a second. Is there any lighting in that area now?
There's nothing now.
There's nothing now, but you're not gonna put lights on the outside of the
There
building?
might be a couple downlit LEDs on timers for the time that we're there, but those will be off by like 5:30 or 6 at night.
Sure, in the front of the building,
In the
by the
front of the
garage
building.
doors, so you can
Yeah,
see
so
coming in
safe
and out?
to- yeah.
Yep.
How do you deal with the oil and everything? if you don't have floor drains?
Well, we don't drop anything on the floor anyway, so,
Okay.
and it's radiant heat, so any water that gets in there in the wintertime pretty much evaporates with the radiant heat on the floor. In the summer, you can squeegee it out, but we don't bring a lot of wet equipment in there. We don't wash any equipment inside.
Or-
We have sump pumps as well.
Okay.
You have a separator in those as well.
In the sump pump.
Yes.
Okay, good. That answers my question.
Is this gonna be a metal frame building?
Metal frame building, yeah.
Yeah. Metal siding,
Correct, yep.
color palette?
It'll be white, similar to what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, white with a gray roof.
Yep.
Any comments from your butters?
We haven't had any.
You are in the butter, aren't you?
We are on the south, yeah,
And then the railroad in the rear.
correct.
In Casella on the north, right?
Yes.
Other questions from the board at this time? Garrett?
Runoff?
We're actually doing a stormwater permit, or gonna go and see what we need for a stormwater permit, get it amended for the current site.
When would you like to start construction?
This past May would be good.
That's what I thought.
I see David got you ready.
On the overhead photograph we have, it shows the proposed building covering some of those trailers. What on the photograph is behind the proposed building?
It's equipment storage.
Equipment storage, and just to the right of it is our loading dock, so a lot of that behind it is when equipment gets finished, it gets put over there, so we can distinguish what hasn't been fixed and what has been fixed.
Okay, so these disappearing trailers are the ones to the on the east part of your new building?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Staff, any comments at this time?
You said you're working on the stormwater amendment process, correct? And I'm assuming you're working, I think Brian said Otter Creek Engineering?
Yeah, correct.
Will they also map whatever wetland is there existing in the buffer? to
Yeah, I'm not
show-
sure what we have for a site design at this point,
Okay.
so it'll have to be completely evaluated, the whole site,
Okay,
before we do anything.
yeah.
Okay, I'll open it up to the public. Is there any questions or comments from the public at this time? Hearing none? What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion. I move that the Middlebury Development Review Board, having reviewed the application submitted and having heard and duly considered the testimony presented at the public hearing of September 24th, 2018, approve this request for amended conditional use approval to add the proposed maintenance facility located on parcel 01:064 100 at 453 Exchange Street.
Is there a second to the motion?
I have an amendment.
Yes.
I would like to see added to that pending stormwater and all the engineering approval that we need.
I would include that
Yeah.
in
yeah.
my motion.
You would?
My friendly
Yes,
amendment? Yeah.
yes, friendly amendment.
Sure.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time,
Have a good
appreciate it.
night.
Good luck.
So what's the timeline now? Next May?
Hopefully still this fall.
Yeah, you want to.
We can talk about that, how this how it just comes together, that's all. Okay.
I think we'll probably push it off till next spring, but we'd like to do this fall, and it's getting.
Thank you, Josh.
Okay, next item on the agenda, other business.
If I could just offer that, Peter Guerin's here as a guest, only he's Jen's zoning administrator, and he kind of wanted to see how we operated here. So that's why.
Brand new.
Oh, since Mel left. Since
Mel.
Mel left.
Mel Hawley.
So since Mel Hawley left.
Yeah.
I've been on the board, was on the DRB. So
Okay,
a fainting familiarity with what's going on. I did have a question, if I could just
Sure.
ask. Going back to site plan review, the question has been raised, how much input is appropriate from the board to an applicant at that stage? You know, in terms of guiding them.
Depends on who you
So
ask.
where, I mean, like, for example, if you looked at that and you wanted the building to be 300 feet away from where it was for some reason or other, does that get presented at the site plan, or are you just responding to?
We can certainly
their
make,
plan?
yeah, we can make suggestions if it's something that we think, you know, there's a good reason to move the building
Mhm.
a certain distance one way or another, yeah, that's perfectly, you know, it's something that we can ask about. We may not, you know, there may be a very good answer why they don't want to move it. But that's certainly a question that could be asked at that time, sure.
Yeah, I think and also if I can add, if it falls within, you know, the bylaws, the zoning laws and whatever, then,
Yeah,
you know, they could certainly say, well, we appreciate, you know, your feedback or your suggestion, but we would really like to have it here. I mean, we'd have really no way to prevent that from happening.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
so.
Sure. We've kind of taken a position, it kind of sounds like what you're saying is, we're not building a plan for you.
Yeah.
We'll ask questions, you give us your plan, we'll ask questions about it, and maybe guide you that way.
and it depends on the applicant. A lot of, some applicants are very well prepared,
Yeah,
and other applicants are not, just because it's such a complicated and expensive thing to do. So some of their site plans are not as detailed as others.
sure.
And that's where, you know, we sort of try to step in and suggest something that looks like it should be changed, but, you know, we still have to follow the.
In my opinion, we should not be helping the applicants do anything. They need to be complete, come here complete, and then we deal with what we have.
Okay,
That's my opinion.
yeah,
Jen and Dave meet with the applicants first and give them a lot of guidance.
That's what-
And
yeah.
then, you know, it gets put together, we review it, and then that's how it works. So step number one is they don't just come here, they meet with them numerous times.
There's a lot that happens
A
behind the scenes.
lot behind the scenes
Yeah,
before we
right,
even
right, yeah,
get to
I
this
recognize
point.
that part.
So if you get an application and you sense that it needs to be more complete, you either have to drive the applicant to give you more material up front, or you convince them that they need to do a sketch plan or preliminary review, which is, you know, like a non-binding decision, and that allows the board to give heavy feedback without obligating themselves in any way.
And the question I asked about the distance between the west side of the building and the boundary was to get some idea of how much leeway there is if there are wetlands back there. Because if there are, Middlebury has its own rules about those. And that would be a circumstance where these two would say, well, now we've got your wetlands plan, you need to move it 5 feet or something. And they would do that.
Okay.
So by not requiring the applicant to go away and come back with a plan that shows exactly where those wetlands are and exactly where that stormwater permitting is, the board is kind of trusting the ZA in this case to make sure that that's all square before he issues the building permit.
Oh, okay, sure, sure.
But you could do it the other way around and require all that information at this board level, and then the ZA is just doing a little administrative function. So every town is gonna have a different dynamic that way.
Right, yeah. Often it is the same thing up there where, you know, it's missing this piece, and I can issue the permit as long as that piece is complete before it's done,
Yeah,
yeah.
just be really careful with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Make sure you really understand what they want from you, so that you're not making it up.
Yes?
Never mind.
I'm gonna talk, was I?
Thanks.
It would be lovely if we could satisfy Don's idea of how application should be presented, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen ever.
It's a slippery slope too, so, because sometimes you get sucked in with the, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what he objects to.
Yeah.
You get sucked into helping them more than you should.
Right, right. And you two are helping them. You two don't like what these two are saying.
exactly.
And then when they come back, they're really in trouble. Exactly.
Well, I remember when I first started, there were some applicants who seemed not really to understand what was going on and this and that and the other. And we made our decision, and then afterwards, when we were off the record, these people who've been around forever filled me in on how the applicant was pulling the wool over my eyes, and they knew exactly what they were doing, and they weren't as stupid as they appeared, and so on and so on.
He's a quick learner, though.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Other business from the board?
Have I noted that Deniker's is a little more subdued on the lighting?
Oh, I didn't notice the lighting, but I noticed they really cleaned up the number of cars, and the landscaping is going in.
Is it,
and
yeah?
feeling good
It
about
looked
that.
like the center that was very bright was a little dimmer the last time I went through in the evening.
I'll look when I go home. They'll actually still be on tonight when I go home.
Yeah. And there's some trees that have appeared
Yeah,
in front of the building.
yep. I haven't been around back. I assume they're still gonna have to give us an application for that parking area in the back, but we got progress.
There's been no communication on that.
Nope, but, I haven't asked either, so
Well,
it's time.
we were asked, they were asked some time ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back in spring, I guess.
Yeah, I've been asked a couple times.
Is that a fight you want
Right,
to
sound
take
like I
on
haven't
right
asked at
now?
all.
Yeah, that's
I made
right.
it sound like I haven't asked at all.
That's right.
I always blame myself.
There were some old aerial photos being shown around here a while
Said
ago.
that, I think you said out loud.
Yeah.
Did you
It's,
happen to see it?
you
Huh?
can't fool that Google Earth very well. You might like to try, but
Do we
pretty
have-
clear.
Do we have a next meeting date?
So here's the scoop on that. There is no meeting on Columbus Day, which is October, the second Monday in October. We have one, we don't have one scheduled, but we have one planned for the end of, and I don't even have my phone with me, I apologize.
More, it's first week of deer season.
No, well,
October
November
22nd.
5th, October 27th, or 2nd.
Second.
Thank you, Jen. That date is scheduled, or is open, and something could still fill in, but at this point in time, we don't have anything scheduled yet.
Nothing in November.
And November 5th, we do have an application,
Okay.
okay? And the November 5th date was to take the place of the Veterans Day.
So you've got, excuse me, October
22nd.
22nd?
October 22nd is open and still available.
Nothing planned. Yes, nothing scheduled.
Read your calendar.
No applications.
Yeah, no application as of,
And that last meeting in November, the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend, is the day I arrive back from my
Okay.
trip to England. So
I won't be here.
I'll be here, but I won't have looked at the, I'll have looked at the stuff online, but not the paper stuff.
I won't, I don't think I'll be back by the 22nd, so I don't know. whether-
of October?
October, I don't know whether Rick will be.
Okay.
Rick,
Nothing scheduled at this point.
You won't be skiing?
Just a minute, wait just a minute.
could be golfing, but not this time.
Yeah, I'll be returning from Virginia on that day, so I probably won't be
Fine.
available either.
It's probably gonna be a moot point.
Yeah.
I feel like we we would have known by now if we were getting an application, but you never know.
Right, I mean, it's still physically possible to warn a meeting on the
Well,
22nd.
let me know and I
Yeah.
might be able to.
Honestly, if it was the 22nd, we could easily push into November 5th.
Yeah,
That's probably what we would do, actually. That's only like a week.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be around
So
there.
November 5th is the big date.
Okay.
okay.
It's Blue Spruce and whatever else comes in.
Was that?
Uh-huh.
So have you given any occupancy permits in the last month?
Occupancy?
Yeah.
Not in the last month, I got one on my desk right now.
How you coming on Tony Neary? Is he looking for a occupancy permit?
Oh, for down behind the,
Yeah.
not yet.
Not yet.
Last time I drove by, there wasn't even doors on the south side,
Or
so
some siding or something was missing.
something was missing. I haven't
Any-
seen anything yet, so.
Any further discussion with him on Greg's Meat Market?
Yeah, I talked to him for a good bit the other day.
Okay.
He's working with his engineer on the site plan.
Okay.
He's got our letter in hand, he's got it all marked up, so I know he's looking at the right things.
Cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, that could easily be in November, too.
But doesn't Pool World building have to come down first?
It depends on how many parking spaces he wants, but
I thought when we originally looked at that, that the Pool World needed to come down.
before he submitted an application
That
to
was my
reappear.
understanding. That's one of those, let's help you build this permit that I disagreed with.
Well, no, he doesn't have to, that's part of his application would be to move it or take it down.
It was, but Jen is just saying now it may not be if the spaces aren't required.
I did not, I don't recall you guys having created a condition that the building had to be demolished before he reapplied to you. I think he can reapply.
Well, you need to go back and look at our decision,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
So
I
you
hope
were
he's not
saying that
disappointed with the
we-
decision. 'cause-
Before he comes
I
back.
think when we talked about the adequate number of parking places, the Pool World building needed to come down.
I think you're correct, Don, when we were
Yes.
talking.
Yes.
Yes,
I know,
I agree.
yeah.
But
Am I confused?
Huh?
I thought he
No.
was saying it had to come down before he reapplied.
I think that's the
But
next
I-
piece.
Yes, but if he can come back with his plan showing Pool Ward there and having enough parking, then that's a valid application. So,
I heard him say to someone else the other day that he was looking for a place for Pool World to go.
yeah.
He seems pretty committed to tearing that building down. It's like he's got a
Yeah.
grudge against this building. I don't think it's that bad.
Well, the Historic Preservation had given up on it, so I guess he has too.
Right.
But he still wants those parking spaces that are in the front of the building.
No comments.
That's not gonna happen.
See, I don't want to discuss the application
Yep.
too much.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to have any communication outside of the meeting, or it would be ex parte communication, right? Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Well, you can have it as long as you announce it. And then if the applicant doesn't want you to vote, then you can't vote.
Or any other interested person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, that's-
It's hard when one, like Tony and everybody knows about it. I mean, you hear stuff. I don't know, is that an ex parte conversation when you overhear something?
every
You can
time he
hear it,
sees
you
me, he
just
wants to
can't
talk
talk
about it.
about
I
it.
can't.
Right.
I don't want to talk about it.
And Tractor Supply is going to start construction soon, so we'll hopefully issue that CO toward the end of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's well
Maybe
underway.
condition their landscaping for
Yeah.
spring.
And
Like
Rouse
they're
is
pouring footers.
progressing?
Yes.
I guess so.
I
Yeah.
actually
I don't talk to him as much.
peeked up through there this afternoon, and it does look like it is progressing.
Well, the equipment's been working.
Yep.
I've stopped
The
Making
forms are
that-
pretty much all in.
left turn onto Foot because the other day, when I
Oh,
was
quick.
turning off Route 7 onto
It's
Foot
solidified.
Street, I was so busy watching the traffic on Route 7 to make sure I could get through that I didn't look in advance at what was happening on Foot Street. And there were these two big trucks stuck behind the Casella recycling truck. And there was room for me to get out of the lane, but if someone had been behind me and they were turning as well, they'd have been stuck out into Route 7. So I'm not going that way till they've finished.
And the state is giving you the date in which they're putting the turn lane in, right?
Columbus Day,
Yeah.
Columbus Day.
Yes,
Yep,
This is Tractor Supply,
yeah.
yep.
really?
Really?
You know, I'm surprised that we didn't have an opportunity to have a discussion about that, because I personally think the way that turn lane is set up, if I were Gardner Stone or some tractor trailer, coming out of either one of those places and wanted to make a right-hand turn to go north, I think you're gonna find it very difficult.
Because they're gonna have to pull out into that lane to
That
make
is
the wide
correct.
swing,
That is correct.
because of the way the road tees into 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
perpendicular.
I think, I mean, I'm sure smarter people than I looked at that, but it just, that may be an issue. How do you fix it? I don't know.
Question for you, they're having these public meetings right now to decide what Triangle Park and Printers Alley are going to look like after the bridge project. And so VHB is like kind of designing that. And I explained to them they need to get a permit because that park had to get a permit. And DAC has said that they'd very much like to review it, whether it's a permit or a DRB approval. And I wonder how much you guys would want to review those plans, or if you feel like you don't have much to say about a park, or what do you think? Should
Well, I
we
think we do.
schedule a hearing for that?
Yes,
Okay, good.
I was at that meeting.
That's right, you were there.
Yeah, but I think we should,
Good. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, no.
having
So
been
at
at
least
that
two of
meeting.
you are interested.
Are there
Three, okay,
number
good.
of options?
They presented for the most part. I only stayed for the Triangle Park options, and what I saw, there were only 2. But there was good feedback from the community that really wanted more options.
I heard that the state and VHB had decided there was only going to be one option, their option.
Well, I think they heard from the public that we didn't really like
Yeah.
either option.
Yeah, good.
And they need to come up with more.
Yeah, good,
I mean, that was my take.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
good.
Interesting.
yeah, it was. But I didn't stay for the second. I had to go put kids to bed, but the second part was what they're gonna do with, what is it called, Printers Alley?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Going down to the mall. I didn't stay for that part, so I don't know. But that too would come here for a permit too, if we decide to do Triangle Park. Is that right?
Yeah, they should bring them together, I think, in
Together,
one
yeah.
application.
Yeah.
And my guess is that they don't have a lot of time and money left to incorporate that public input. They got it a little late in the game.
Right.
So I think you'll have the great fortune of getting an application that's very unpopular with the public in certain ways, and then you'll be forced to evaluate it just according to your criteria. And I think it could be interesting. There's nothing worse than getting like an improperly publicly vetted application that's, like a community development project. Like imagine if you had gotten the EDI site, they very much wanted to send that to you. I mean, that would have been insane.
Did I hear that Raphael had a number of options? More than 2? He
Yeah.
was the designer.
He worked from May until September and spent like tens of thousands of dollars, so I'm gonna say that he came up with a lot of ideas during that time. But when staff reviewed it, there was only one option for Printers Alley. By the time they got to the meeting the following Tuesday, there were 2 options for Printers Alley. And theoretically, 2 options for Triangle Park, but they were very similar. Just one had a
Little more.
plaza area and one
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, the second one had a few more trees that kind of really blocked it off, but,
Is that all part of the bridge project?
yeah.
Is
I
there
mean,
money to do what they want to do?
From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way it went down is that, they're obligated to put back, for the most part, what they took out. This is the state, which includes the fountain, which has some historical value, and people get that. The biggest one of the big sticking points was the fountain. Does it go back, and if it does it go there, or can we find another spot for it? Because some people that were in the public wanted that downtown space to be, a downtown space, potentially more plaza-ish, where you could have a farmer's market or an open-air market or just a central gathering space, because it's flat. You know, whereas the park that the college has is nice, but it's rolling, and that's not the town, that's the college. This is ours. So it was interesting. One of the comments that was brought up as well, can we, you know, with what you've designed, you've got so much money to put back what was there. Do we just bank what that is and we get to help figure it out? Well, obviously the answer is no. The state's putting back what was there, but they're trying to give us options to do it in a manner that's decent. And what I would say is what was, you know, said is that it looks nice. It's nice. It's not bad, but is it really going to be what we want it to be to function for the town for the next 200 years? Is it going to work for the town going forward? So it was actually interesting. I'm glad I went. There was more to it than I thought was going to, more sustenance than I thought was going to be there. I wish more people were there too, because I'm sure a lot of people would have opinions, but they weren't there.
Would have been nice to have a meeting or two between May and September as well to kind of develop those plans iteratively with input along the way, but
Yeah.
there's a difference between like a design project and a planning project. I think this was treated like an engineering design project as opposed to a
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
planning project, so.
So another issue is, how are we coming on Habitat for Humanity on Seymour Street?
Haven't talked to them in a while, but they were in.
They cut the grass.
Can I share their strategy for trying to?
Did they cut the grass?
Yeah.
So they're trying to acquire a little bit more land so that they can easily meet the subdivision, the dimensional requirements for subdividing. So that'll make it easier if they are successful with that.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's possible.
They were gonna come back for, like a check-in, but we said just hold off until you've got a clean application. We thought of Don, like just get a clean application, so it's easily approvable or disapprovable. And then we'll be all set, no complications.
But we probably should touch base with them, because time will erode away here, and all of a sudden,
Right,
they'll be pushing hard again, and it won't work out time frame wise.
right.
Well, we're running toward the end of a good construction period here, but, you know, I don't see it happening this year, do you?
Yeah, it's-
No, I don't think it was intended to happen this year.
No, it was.
It wasn't?
It was
No,
I think
I-
next year,
he's-
they're doing the courses at the college over
Yeah.
the fall and the winter and the J term to get prepared to start it like next
Okay.
spring or summer or something.
Right.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried. We're adjourned. We're all done, Kathy. Thank you.